Well, it really started with, it started with you. Do you want to, what started? Oh, you're far too kind. Thank you. Okay, so let's forward to past my part. It started with, so I'll explain the IMAX thing. Not many people know this, but actually in the late 90s, Metallica was actually asked by IMAX whether we wanted to do an IMAX film. About 98 or 99. At that time, IMAX was kind of showing specialty movies, like mountain climbing movies and scuba diving movies and, volcanic eruption movies and all that kind of stuff. And they wanted to do a Metallica movie. I don't know why, but they did. And at that time, the cameras were these giant, big, fuck-off cameras with analog film in them, and it was the whole thing was kind of a clusterfuck and very impractical, and unfortunately we had to walk away from our IMAX offer at that time. But about 12 years later, about 2 or 3 years ago, the idea came up again about doing a theatrical film and kind of doing a concert film with a different twist to it, and not doing kind of a lot of these concert films, they end up being kind of it's like just concert footage and a bunch of backstage footage, and here we are prayer circle, and here we are getting massaged, and here's the band eating a sandwich in a limo and all that stuff.
We have no idea which movie you're talking about.
Nobody wants to see that, at least not as, with Metallica in it. So we kind of had this idea that we wanted to do a narrative, with, a story, and have actors and storyline and all this kind of stuff set against a movie, set against the background of a concert, and we went in search of trying to find a producer, and the phone rang and Charlotte answered it, and now you're sitting here 2 years later.
It's amazing. No, it's amazing. I got a call from Cliff Bernstein,
our manager.
Actually, their manager. Yeah, Cliff said, hey, you want to make a movie with the band Metallica? And I don't know if
said yes.
It's kind of obvious that I kind of didn't start out as a Metallica fan, but I've been making IMAX movies and whatever. I called my husband. My husband said, if you have a chance to make a movie with Metallica, you need to stop everything you're doing and do that, because, and I quote, they are American.
And Tom is sitting right back there. I think you should stand up.
And this
Tom.
Here's what he said. They are America's greatest band. That is what he said. So, I don't know if Lars knows that story. You may not know that story.
You should also tell people that you now sing Metallica songs.
I do. Now I'm making breakfast for my kids, and I say, out of the blue, I'll go, if your fuel is a fire, give me that much I desire! Like this. My kids are like, Mom, you've gone insane. Like, I'm Metallica insane now. So I love Metallica. So I flew up at the band. It was really amazing. Amazing guys. Really respectful, super smart. Just incredible guys. My husband brought Some Kind of Monster home, or actually he owned it. He screened it for me before I flew up and met you guys, and it was amazing. Then I flew back and met the management, and yeah, the rest is history.
Let's bring it down one notch. What do producers do in films? Explain to us what producers do.
Well, the first thing that we did was learn that you guys had already built a stage, which the stage, it took me a year to figure this out. The stage that you see in that movie, which is one of the most spectacular stages probably ever made, and certainly one of the heaviest grids and whatnot, and it has all sorts of media integration, and it's really a complicated stage, was built for the movie. And I swear to God, until I walked onto the set of the movie, which was a Vancouver arena with 20,000 people in it, I didn't fully comprehend the scope of building a stage like that for a movie. It didn't tour. We rehearsed by doing concerts in Mexico City. I mean, these are rehearsals with like 40,000 people attending. And I didn't really understand all of that. So the first thing we did was we started to deal with the stage. We started to deal with the fact that it's 360, which was a real nightmare for producing.
I think we begged a few times for them to rebuild the stage.
We begged many times, right up to the last minute of filming. We were begging, because there's 360 creates a lot of problems, which we could talk about.
It's kind of a little bit of a foreign concept in Hollywood, shooting 360.
360 was complicated, but ended up being in our favor, and Joe, Nim embraced it, and Joe has used it, as you see in the shots. And then we looked for this guy. That was
the next thing was basically finding a director.
Number one important job was to find him.
So we needed we knew we wanted to intervene a story, a narrative as it's called, into a concert, but we didn't know what the story was going to be, and we didn't know how to do it. So I interviewed a few directors in Hollywood who all looked at me like I came from Mars, and
most of them were also huge Metallica fans. Let me just tell you.
And finally, Charlotte hooked me up with Nimrod. We had tea down at the Sunset Marquee, and I looked in Nimrod's eyes, and I kind of tried to explain to him what it was we were doing, and he didn't run away screaming. And so I figured that was already a plus. And then he looked back at me with his little bit of a glimmer, kind of a hint of madness in his own eyes, and I said, we may have found our creative partner here.